Well, we're back, everyone.
It's been
a year.
over a year. The last time we attempted a episode that we didn't even post, and it was shot from right here, no less. This was back when
You'll never see it.
Abraham was in the throes of the CMI, Central Maine Idol competition of 2023.
23. That's right, dude.
And so it's been over a year and a half. So here we are.
Just making sure I'm good.
I haven't seen him since then.
It's true.
If you just by continuity of these episodes, the only times, as far as you know, the only times we ever see each other is when we're doing an episode. All the stuff about us being friends from the age of 10 or 11 is all fake.
It's BS.
But anyways, welcome back.
Happy New Year.
To Sorry for Yelling podcast. We're going to try and make this happen again. We'll do some gimmicky editing.
Yeah. I'm all about the gimmick.
My gimmick today.
Speaking of which, I got sunglasses. Dude,
I've done it before.
Sunglasses inside.
I've done it before in one of these episodes. I fell for that.
What?
The whole putting the sunglasses on for a podcast. Like it's a cool thing. Yes, I did. I had the aviators. I think I remember your little nephew, not little anymore, Josiah, said something about
shout out.
He commented how it looked like I wanted to ask you for your license and registration.
Oh, what? That's what made you never do it again?
No.
But here you are, not doing it.
I just knew better. I saw it and I was like, oh, I shouldn't do that. I see you haven't got a memo.
I don't have the memo. You know what it is? I just like sunglasses. And but you know the downside of wearing them inside is that
you can't see?
Yes. But you also see the reflections of the ring lights and stuff like that.
Don't even sweat it.
Yeah, I'm not sweating it.
Speaking of the ring lights, this is probably the worst lighting since the first couple episodes we ever did. But now that I mentioned it, now I've revealed my insecurities. I'm very insecure.
Let's get it out, dude.
I'm very insecure at the hard shadows that are going on over here, the sharp shadows.
Okay.
That only prop up from the most inexperienced videographers.
What else are you insecure about? Let's talk about your season of singleness. Oh, I don't know if you can see this, but we got a cat joining us. Oh, she better not. She better. Oh, she's doing it. Get out of here.
That's Lola, also known as Lomer, also known as Edward.
Hey, baby. All right, off you go.
If by season of singleness you mean my entire life,
let's talk about it. How's that?
I'm not insecure about that.
How's it? No, I know you're not. But what are you? Are you trying to remedy that?
Casually, yeah. And by casually, I don't mean hookups. I mean casually, as in, I'm not putting a lot. It's not a priority. I'm not putting a lot of effort. I did go on one Bumble date.
So you're using the apps. Ago. You're using the app.
Yeah, it's really not ideal. You just have to
swipe every once in a while.
Oh, it's grotesque. It's anti-human. We can get into that in a second, but
so you went on a Bumble date?
Yeah.
How many? How many dates have you gone on?
Just the one. It was pretty not good. I couldn't tell if she was super nervous or she just did not want to be there. I think she was just really nervous.
Well, sometimes when you're super nervous, you then don't want to be there.
That's true. I was nervous too until she showed up, and then I'm like, okay, it felt like a job interview, and I actually kind of like job interviews. They're really nerve-wracking until they start, and then you're just laying down the negotiations. Look at this thing.
What is she? She's trying to get something. Oh, she's gonna. Lola, you better get out of here.
Because you threw her. No, she ain't stopping.
She's not gonna.
I don't know if it's in the shot, but there's these little things that are on the wall where
Loma.
where something was hung up.
You ain't doing
and she can't think of nothing else but finding those things.
Lola?
Why don't you show it to her? See what she does. Just show her that no, it's nothing. It's nothing to be obsessed over. Yeah, see, it's not a bug.
What do you got to say about that? All right. Well, let me do this.
What are you doing with her? She's okay.
Is she all right? Well, I don't think.
I don't mind. I don't mind.
All right.
If you mind,
Scam Likely calling me. I don't know who this is.
Aunt Scam.
Oh my God.
She's okay. This is good for ratings. All 76 views will probably get on this. This will get us 10 extra ones.
Well, here's my only problem. If she gets over here, it's going to be over.
And by over, her life.
Oh my God. And if she goes for it, she's going to be on
She
these
is such a
drinks.
beautiful cat.
And then the drinks are going to be on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
they were originally on you because you bought them.
But the thing is see, that's the difference between you and I.
She's about to jump. Wow, she's good. She's good at
jumping.
She's
a cat. She can jump, probably.
Dude.
That's all they're good for.
This is...
That's not true.
Now this
Cats are good for many things.
Now she's derailing the show.
No, it's not. This is fun.
She's derailing the show.
Look at her. She's a long girl. She's a stretch.
She can be a long girl. Hey, get over here. Let me pat you. No. Let me cradle you.
Yeah, she's going to turn into a spike. She's going to turn into a cactus.
No, she likes me.
That's true. When I try to do that, she immediately tries to turn my fingers into bloody messes.
How about you stay down there? Nope. No more. You've had your fun. So you've been on the apps. Yeah, you like job interviews. So we found that out.
It feels like yes, the date felt like a job interview. And I do like job interviews. I don't know if doesn't mean I'm good at them. I haven't really had that many.
What do you like about them?
Oh, I don't know. I just like
being interrogated.
Saying what I bring to the table, what I can do, my job, past job.
How would you? Sorry, there was a siren.
There's a whoop whoop.
How would you tell us about a time where you exhibited good conflict resolution?
Yeah, I like doing that. I think that's kind of fun.
Do you have? Let me ask you this, because there are certain things I think about before the interview, and unfortunately, dude, this is crazy. Oh my God.
So you think before the interview,
but
we might
I don't
have to lock her up.
Yeah, she's being. Is she part of ISIS? The one she's a part of the 1% that got away. No, she's got to go. Yeah, I got her.
But now we'll hear her. We're gonna hear her crying from the other room.
All right.
So before an interview, you like to think of certain things, and that's probably one of them because that's a common one.
Yeah, it's always in there. Tell us about your conflict resolution. How do you deal with people that, or what would you do if someone didn't like the initiative that you gave? What would you do if it's whatever?
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, well, a lot of them, it's really unrealistic questions because your answers are probably not true because you don't want to say anything that's going to be
right. Like I didn't
wrong.
Tell them this last interview. I didn't tell them
that you were the conflict,
that I was the entire problem,
and they had to resolve you. Right.
They're going to have to resolve me. One way or the other, either by firing me or promoting me. So,
yeah,
it's going to be a fun ride. But basically, what happens is you have this facade, this PR facade in interviews, right? And you enjoy that. You're probably pretty realistic.
It's like a game.
No, it is, because you know what I did? I actually told the truth, but I used it in humor.
Yeah, right.
Like, they're like, what would you say if somebody came to you? God, I can't remember the question, but essentially it was like,
came to you with gossip
or
about another coworker?
how would you? No, well, that was one of them, but the one I'm thinking of was, how would you deal with it if somebody said something inappropriate or whatever, or came to you like and you realized they'd screwed up? What would you do? And I'm like, well, it probably depends on the level of rapport that I have with them. Because, like, if it's somebody that I've known my whole life, like, I was thinking of you, but I was like, if it's like a friend, I'd just be like, WTF, you piece of and laugh about it. But if it's somebody that I barely know, I'd be like, hey, so, how's it going? Let's have a conversation. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. That sounds
good.
And
they laughed and they agreed.
Yeah, that's a good time. No, I like the interviews, and I haven't had one in a long time.
But you have had the experience of interviewing people.
I have interviewed one person.
Oh, just one. Okay.
Just one for the job I have now.
And what was it? Did you become the therapist? How'd this go again? Did they start telling you about their life story and?
Okay.
What happened?
I'll tell this story.
Yeah, real quick.
So I work for a small business. I just manage the books and help out with anything that really comes up. And
Money
one
laundering.
thing that came up.
You're a fixer. You kill people.
I cook the books. One thing that came up was he wanted to hire somebody to help out with on the sites. He's a arborist. Anyways, this guy, we just interviewed him. Me and the owner of the company, we interviewed him in the Barnes and Noble, and he showed up. Before we started, he had bought like a big mochaccino thing from the Starbucks at the Barnes and Noble.
First red flag.
Just slurping down some straight diabetes.
Right, because if he had bought himself just a black cup of coffee. And maybe even got you one. That's too much though for an interview, but maybe, who knows?
There wasn't no place in all of existence where this guy would have ever even considered doing that.
Anyway.
And it ended up the interview being mostly talking to him about his divorce and his struggles with custody over his kids.
That's the way it should be. He's got no one else to turn to.
I guess so.
Guarantee, dude, can you imagine this guy applies to
like an actual
No, just like he goes around, it's like his therapy. He goes around applying as much as he can to different jobs. Just takes the interview to talk about his problems. You know what I mean? Can you imagine?
It would be just better just to use better call help or better help.
Better help Saul.
Better call Saul. Better help. It'd just be easier to do that and then get scammed by them.
Scammed by Better Call Saul?
By BetterHelp.
What's wrong with BetterHelp?
They sold a lot of HIPAA information, and they also have very underqualified therapists.
I shouldn't say that because I'm in a field that you very much should follow HIPAA. But all I'm saying is about that. Who cares? You know what I mean?
Well,
who really cares?
The people cared. The people whose data got compromised.
The only people who care is the people who want to make money from the fact that people screwed up. Let's be real about it.
I get where you're going, but it's unethical business practices.
Understandable.
You shouldn't be doing that. And they do it anyways.
And the lawyers had a field day, didn't they?
Well, I don't know the details of the class action, if there even has been one. But the biggest problem is a lot of people say that their therapists are underqualified. And it makes sense because the more qualified ones, the cream flows to the top. And a lot of the better ones will just have their own practice, have a successful practice. Meanwhile, the ones, if you have to...
No, I would say this. The best ones come to work for Moco.
The worst ones.
Go ahead.
If you don't know what Moco is, that's Abe's employer right now.
I've said too much already. My bad.
That's
Go
okay.
ahead.
They can know where where you work. They just can't know anything else.
Anything else.
So anyways, to weave this back together. So yes,
you're like Trump with the weave.
Dates. I wasn't going to bring up Trump, but I did. I was referencing him. Yes, I wasn't going to get this political, but
I didn't even mean his hair like the weave. I was talking about the conversational weave.
I understand.
No, I know you understand.
People might not understand. That's right. I think they do, because I feel like most of the people that watch currently are evangelical Christians that probably are Trumpers.
That's crazy to think about.
But
it's true, probably.
So
who knows?
I mean,
have you looked at the YouTube analytics? Is that what you think?
I just know that a lot of the viewers are our circle of friends at this moment.
Oh, okay.
And guess what?
We love you. That's all I've got to say about that.
There is an overlap between evangelical and Republican.
I thought you were going to...
Not all of them. I do know some...
you were going to say between evangelicals and people who need mental help.
Everyone needs mental help.
You're right. Drop the stigma. Is that what they say? Destigmatize it. Is that what they say?
Yes.
I probably had classes about this.
You would think.
Anyway, dude. So, what were you weaving to?
I was weaving to dates. To me, feel like interviews, and you know what? They probably shouldn't.
What about like December 26th? Does that feel like an interview?
What's December 26th?
You said dates.
God in heaven.
I'm not even.
I'm gonna resign. I'm gonna resign from life.
Oh, that's a creative way to say unalive.
It is
for the views, for the algorithm.
Here is the unalive hotline number. I'm just kidding.
It's good. It's good.
That's what I was gonna say. Is
dates feel like interviews, and you like interviews?
Yeah, it was okay. It was really difficult with her because she didn't laugh at any. She didn't think I was funny. She didn't vibe with anything I was talking about. The only time she laughed was when she misheard something that I said. She thought I said something else, but I actually didn't.
What was it? Can I know?
I can't remember. I just remember that's what happened. And she got out of there within an hour. It was bad. It wasn't the worst, but it wasn't good.
Okay.
And so that was distasteful. It left a bad taste in everything as far as dating goes. So
okay.
What I need to do is just do cold opens and just approach women in person.
Well, that does help.
I think that's the way to go.
Is cold open everyone. And let me just say this. What I mean by everyone is you've got to turn on the faucet before you actually get to the one you want to talk to.
So this is Abe's pickup artistry days that he was into.
It's just social dynamics. That's all I'm saying. Is if you have an agenda in your head, like, oh, I'm not, I don't want to talk to anyone, or like, and somehow you think you're just going to like turn it on. Like in a social setting, you're just going to turn it on when it's like somebody you want to talk to. It's not how it works. You're going to be awkward. It's going to be weird. So you just immediately, within the first 3 to 5 seconds, you just have to open by open, I mean, start talking. Just giving people compliments. Hey, what's up? Where are you from?
You got to be in a flow state.
It gets you open. It gets you in a flow state. And the other thing that's a little bit harder to, this is for the advanced, but this is.
We learned this from Neil Strauss and what's his name? Mystery?
Eric von Markovic. We're nixing this from the record. But basically, there's a couple things. You got to get in the flow state, and it's super helpful if you're trying to attract a mate, is what they call pre-selection. So roll up with at least 1 or 2 women with you.
It's so gimmicky. It just feels gross. It's like, it's like gross. I don't like it.
What I'm saying is all that to say, it's not like you're gonna roll up probably with.
You have to be an opportunist. This can't be your agenda. In other words, you have to rewrite your personality, which is debatable on the quality of that. You have to become able to be comfortable with groups of people and talking to multiple people at once or off and on. And then just opportunistically, you'll just end up talking to someone that you're attracted to and they'll be attracted to you. I get it.
Right. Well, the whole idea is like, if you have an agenda, there's a couple things. If you have an agenda before you go into a conversation, one, they can sniff it out immediately.
As they should.
Everyone can. Like, no matter... Yeah. So don't ever have an agenda about anything. Even with, let's say, a hot chick that you're wanting to date. Like, throw that out the window. As hard as that is. I mean, your subconscious is going to do its thing, but try not to have an agenda. For that reason, they can sniff it out. And also, you just have a better conversation when you're not trying to... You don't have an end goal to get to.
At the end of the day, I think my problem is I just hate women.
There's also that. I mean... Dude. Bro. I just think... Oh, man. I never mind. I can't go there.
I guess we can't go there.
I was going to say something... just from Andrew Tate, but then it's gonna be like, well, now I'm exposed. Now we're out here. I was gonna say
you named names already.
Oh yeah, that's true. I could have. You know what? I heard this somewhere.
Yeah, good cover.
Which is, man, you know, I like women. I want to respect women, and then like, I don't ever set out to, like, I don't wake up and be like, I want to hate women today. I want to, like, disrespect women. And then they talk. And then or I see one drive, you know? Anyway, we can nix that.
No, we don't have to. It's fun.
I don't mean any of that.
People can handle it.
I'm just joking here. These are all jokes.
Just jokes.
I have a wife that I love a lot. I have sisters that I love a lot. I have a mother. Everyone's got a mother. I love her to
death. Love her a lot?
I love her a lot.
Well, you can lie,
but I don't want them to drive.
But
I just don't want... Anyway, let's talk about the 19th Amendment and how that was a mistake.
Was that having to do with the women's rights?
Can you imagine if it was
IX?
like prohibition or something? No, I think it is the 19th Amendment. Was women voting.
Oh, very good. Very well.
Anyway.
If I were a true feminist, I would know that. Which I am not.
What do you think about women preaching? You don't give a crap.
I don't care at all about
That's true.
About
all right.
any of that.
Moving on.
No, we can talk about this because I know this might be an issue.
It's not really. It is for some, but let's be real.
It depends on how you interpret Paul.
Well, let me just say this. Well, if we're going down this rabbit hole, then let's go down an even deeper rabbit hole of what also doesn't matter, which is, do you think there's going to be a rapture, or did it already happen? Are we living in a new heaven right now?
Depends on which gospel you read. Depends.
So what I'm saying is that I don't care. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. That's a strong statement, actually, to say that doesn't matter to me.
You're a pan. What is it called? What is it called?
What is this about to be? A pan
trib. You're a pan tribulation, which means it'll all pan out.
Oh, that's good.
That's what I learned that in Bible college.
It'll all pan out.
In other words, well, I remember the guy who talked about this. He said it like it was a joke, but he meant it like. Goodness, just live your life,
right?
And just live it to Jesus.
Live a quiet life.
Live it to Jesus. That's good grammar.
Live it as unto the Lord is what you mean to say.
Something like that,
right?
But I am by no means qualified to speak on such matters of Christianity and faith.
Why do you disqualify yourself from grace? Nietzsche.
I didn't say I'm disqualified from grace. I said I'm disqualified to speak.
Oh, to speak on these things. All right. Well, no one's disqualified to speak on anything, but
for better or for worse.
What you're saying is no one should take your word with anything, like with a grain. Everyone should take it with a mountain of salt, is what you're saying.
I'm taking what I say.
Correct.
I have.
Because you can speak. There's free speech, bro. You can speak about anything.
I have studied extensively biblical matters.
You even taught Greek.
I even taught a class at a Bible college once. That was wild. Wild that I even did it and even succeeded in any measure.
Let me just ask you this, and for the people, you guys might not know this, but let me ask you this. Whenever you were teaching, whenever you hadn't prepared enough, did you ever try to break it into like a chapel session?
No.
Well, one, I already know. You prepare like crazy. So that would never be on the table. But I think it's funny sometimes that
we would just work on problems because we would work on translation problems. So we would translate from English to Greek or Greek to English.
Well, it's kind of just a running joke in the Christian world that like in a service or like even in school, like Bible colleges, like if you haven't prepared, like if the preacher hasn't prepared a sermon, they're like, yeah, just
can I
milk in the song service. Yeah, we're going to just stay in this place. Keep going.
I have a specific example of this.
All right.
There was a teacher that we had at my Bible college. He was supposed to teach hermeneutics, which is methodology of studying the Bible. And he started the first day saying, I hate this class. I wish I didn't have to teach it, but here I am. And so opened up with that.
Did he turn it into a prayer room?
He didn't. He turned it into just talking about all the miracles that happened at his church that previous Sunday.
Oh.
And that's what it turned into every time. And we didn't learn much. Only thing I remember from hermeneutics class is the law of first mention, where apparently sometimes it means a lot when it's the first time something's mentioned in the Bible. So it's like pay attention to when it's the first time something comes up. That's the only thing I remember.
Here's what okay. Well, I probably shouldn't say too much because I'm a Bible believing Christian. I'll just put that out there. But the law of first mention, that's interesting because wasn't the Bible like reorganized?
Correct.
So
what do you mean?
Like it's not a chronological
order. There was editors and redactors. Specifically, it's actually very evident in the book of Genesis, where the book of Genesis
because where were the dinosaurs?
Okay. So the book of Genesis, and I think the whole Torah, except for Deuteronomy, there is roughly 3 or 4 sources that were written by different authors at different times, but then they were edited together. Some of the pieces were taken out, and they were spliced together. And
it's like we do with music.
Sure. if that helps. And so specifically, an example is the first 2 chapters of Genesis. The first chapter comes from the priestly tradition or the Levitical writer. And then the second actually into chapter 2 comes from the Yahwist or the Elohist source, which tells a different story. In chapter 1 is the 6-day creation, where God is more abstract and everything is laid out much like how it is in the book of Leviticus, which shared the same author or is hypothesized to have been the same author. But then chapter 2, you have God, Yahweh. No, sorry. Yeah. Yes, Yahweh is right. Chapter 2.
Because this is going on
He was
your
in
record.
person. He was in the garden, like as anthropomorphized. Chapter 1, his name isn't Yahweh, it's Elohim. And so
right.
That's why they call it the Yahwist source, is because God is always called Yahweh, except in like some rare contextual.
Well, you couldn't even say it, right? You couldn't say Yahweh.
we couldn't say it. and later in the Hebrew tradition, I think even to this day, the Tetragrammaton is what they call it.
It was just letters, right?
Four
Y-W-H-W?
letters. Yeah.
Or W-H. Sorry.
YHWH.
Right.
If that's what you said, you're correct.
I didn't say that, but yes.
Because Hebrew didn't have vowels. Anyways, so in Genesis and in Exodus, scholars have studied this by seeing vocabulary, and for example, how God is referred to by his name, but there's lots of other things, the style, the things that are emphasized, the Yahwist tradition, or the Yahwist source emphasizes Jerusalem as the capital. And then the Elohist, which is similar, they emphasize Israel, the kingdom of Israel, where Yahweh emphasizes the kingdom of Judah. But the Levitical priestly, they emphasize the role of the Aaronid priesthood.
The Aryans?
The Aaronid, so descendants of Aaron.
Oh.
And the whole book of Leviticus.
You got me going there for a minute.
The whole book of Leviticus is I'm sure. I'm not going to let that sidetrack me right now. I'm just going to glaze over that.
Let's go.
Leviticus is solely the priestly tradition. And then Deuteronomy is its own source entirely. But Numbers has a little bit of everything. Genesis and Exodus has a little bit of everything. And I have a Bible that lays out in which ones come from which source, to the best of the scholar's knowledge. It'll have the Levitical will all be in blue. The Yahwist will be in brown or red, or some will be in italics.
Wow.
And it's very, very interesting.
Let me just say something right now. Let me interject this flow state, this teaching lesson. Do you think Noah is in heaven? Do you think Noah made it? And the reason
because he got drunk.
The reason I say it is because, first of all, he was the town drunk, right? Let's establish this. And in their years, so they lived to be what? Upwards of 7 to 900
years.
So he was building the ark for about 100 years, right? 150 years, I think. He was building the ark.
Something like that.
In our time frame, that would be like building something on your lawn for 15 to 20 years, right? Something like that. 10 to 15 years.
Relative, yeah.
You imagine I'm next to Noah, the town drunk.
What tradition does that come from, that he's the town drunk? He didn't get drunk until after the flood.
Oh, wow. That'll preach.
Did you not know that?
Let me just say this. He relapsed, is all I was saying. Because after the flood, after they made it speculative, excuse me. Look, I know the Lord. I know the Lord judged the son that laughed at him, and had favor upon the other two that covered him up,
and walked in backwards into the tent.
However, he still relapsed, and he got drunk. Did he repent?
There's no things about him saying it was a relapse.
Either way, let's just say
this is not built on solid ground, this argument.
All that I'm saying is I'd probably be amongst the people that didn't make it. If I was next to... Dude, if I heard saws and nails pounding at 5 a.m., on not the 90th year, I'd be like, all right, dude, I'd be out there mocking him. I'd probably be sowing some discord, actually.
Sowing discord among your
brethren? I'd probably be cutting things down, cutting rafters.
Oh, you would be a saboteur.
All I'm saying is, if I had to live right next to him, although it's not like today. But you can imagine, he lives in the apartment next door. Imagine an apartment complex. And you see,
this is the problem. You're really putting your lens of modern life.
There's not a problem with that. There's no problem with that. I think it's great.
You need to superimpose your modernist perspective of the world.
Yeah. How else are you gonna live?
Well, you can make an attempt not to, but I know this is for comedic purposes.
No. Oh,